Hello, everybody, and happy Sunday afternoon. In addition to being one of your friendly ushers, I'm Laura Mogul, the Executive Director here at Landmark. It is my great pleasure to welcome you all here for our 7th production in 8 years of Landmark Radio Theater. It's a tradition we've all come to love, and we hope and know that you will too, especially since most of you are probably related to somebody in the cast. But even if you aren't, these are a lot of fun. I want to give a shout out first to the creators of this program, Pat Lyons and Elise May. They are the heart and soul of this production. And we know that because you see their names in about 20 places in the program. So thank you to them for being partners with us in this great community theater undertaking. The cast of community members, some of whom you know, you may not recognize because they're all in period costume, even though this is a radio play. I want to give a shout out of thanks to Huntington Arts Council and our very good friends, Port Washington's own Hearts, who have helped underwrite this production. Thank you so much for your generosity. And the cast has asked me to remind you that this is a radio production. They didn't have cell phones back in the radio days. Please silence your cell phones now. If you really need to take pictures, please make doubly sure that both the sound and the flash are off. The flash is very distracting and it's not going to help you from back there. So please, if you can, turn your cell phones off because the show is being recorded and everything you say, do, your phone rings, your paper crackles, it's going to be picked up by the mics because you, the audience, are part of the show. We welcome your reactions. We need your reactions. So please do laugh when it's funny and cheer when appropriate or anytime you feel like it. The show is being live streamed today to parts as far as San Diego, Dallas, Breckenridge, Colorado, and Buffalo, New York. So thank you to all of you who are tuned in from around the country. And please welcome the members of the Landmark Radio Theater Troupe.
Landmark Radio Theater presents Cocktail Blues, A Tale of the Jazz Age. The year is 1924. The time is evening, and our story begins in an alleyway near the shore of Manhasset Bay.
This must be the place.
It sure doesn't look like much.
I think that's the idea. The man said to knock twice, then once.
1, 2, what?
Yeah.
Zelda sent us.
Hey, bartender, is the gin here safe to drink?
Sure, we clean the bathtub after every match.
This is so exciting.
What'll it be, folks?
A sidecar for the lady and a whiskey sour for me.
Coming right up. There you are.
Here's to sweet dissipation.
Well, I don't know what that means, but I'll drink to it.
It's a raid. Ditch the booze and duck out the back way.
Clancy, break the door down. All right, stay where you are, and these premises are seized, and you're all under... Hey, where'd everybody go?
Are we there yet? Where is this place anyway? North Dakota?
Oh, Roger, for heaven's sakes. Port Washington is only 45 minutes from Broadway. It's very fashionable to take a place out here for the summer. All the best New York families do.
We're hardly a New York family yet, Mother. We only left Ohio 2 months ago.
Well, we certainly couldn't go on living there. Your father's not just any old factory owner now, you know. He's an industrialist.
Oh, Mildred, really?
Now, Horace, with all the success you've had, making bootlaces for the War Department, you're a man of prominence now. There were only 3 families in all of Ashtabula who could match our social standing.
Our bank balance, you mean?
Our social standing. Roger, think of your sister Agnes. How was she ever going to find a suitable beau in a backwater like that? It just would not do.
Don't go blaming all this on me.
Agnes, you're 20 years old now. You have no time to waste. You've got to see and be seen in the best New York society. The Astors, the Vanderbilts, the Whitneys, they all come out to Long Island for the summer, and now so will the Dimmerwoods.
But everyone's heard of those families, Mother. Who's ever heard of us?
Don't you worry, they'll hear of us.
That sounds ominous.
Yeah, we're almost there now. Just a few more blocks.
Is this cottage we rented near the water?
It's on Bayview Avenue, so I suppose it must have a view of the bay.
Well, by that logic, Mother, every mansion on 5th Avenue ought to be a speakeasy.
Roger, whatever do you mean?
Fifths, Mother. Liquor bottles. They're called... Oh, skip it.
Oh, is that what they taught you at finishing school, Agnes? About liquor bottles?
No, just about boys who try too hard to be clever.
Kids, sisters, who needs them?
Horace, did you speak to the agency about servants?
Yeah, there's a butler and a cook hired for the season. They opened up the house yesterday to air it out.
I hope the butler is suitably refined. One can never be sure in these resort towns.
I say, this town can't be all bad. That's the 3rd yacht club we've driven by.
We should join one, Horace. I read in Vanity Fair that yachting is very fashionable.
And we've got our own Jolly Roger.
Ha ha, now who's trying too hard to be clever?
No more bickering, you two. We want to put our best foot forward when we arrive.
Anything you say, Millie.
Do not call me by that silly name. I don't even let your father call me Millie.
What do you let him call you?
Agnes, apologize to your mother.
Sorry, Millie.
Oh, the indignities a mother must endure at the hands of ungrateful children.
All right, everybody, here we are, 68 Bayview Avenue.
Good afternoon, sir. Madam.
I'm Horace Dimmerwood. Who are you?
My name is Willoughby, sir. I've been engaged to manage the household for the season. I am at your service.
Well, you talk like a butler anyway.
This is it? The house looks so much grander in the brochure. Are all the summer cottages this small?
They come in all sizes, madam. I am told that the previous tenants have found this one quite comfortable.
Oh, Mother doesn't give a hang about comfort. She wants to make an impression.
Well, madam, you'll find that the French doors in the drawing room open onto a spacious veranda, creating a most attractive setting for entertaining on fine evenings.
I suppose it will have to do. Now, what about the bedrooms? Who will go where?
I'll take the one with the turret, so Rudolph Valentino will know where to serenade me.
Lon Chaney, more likely.
Come along now.
Well, the cook knows what's what anyway. That leg of lamb wasn't half bad.
Mrs. Olson will be most grateful to hear it, sir. Will you take coffee at the table or in the drawing room?
Coffee? Coffee? What I want with my cigar is a good Kentucky bourbon. But I suppose it'll have to be coffee, Confounded Prohibition.
Indeed, sir.
Father, I'd like to take the Packard out after dinner. Scout around town, get the lay of the land.
I don't know, Roger. You have an uncommon knack for getting into scrapes.
Oh, there won't be a mark on the fenders, I promise.
Oh, that's not the kind of scrapes I meant.
You should take Agnes along, Roger. I'm sure she'd like to get a look at the town, too.
Mother, must he?
Father, must I?
Oh, it's a capital idea. A young sport can't get into too much trouble with his sister in tow.
But, Father...
No Agnes, no Packard.
Oh, all right. Come on, sis. Maybe we'll glimpse some amusing local flora and fauna.
Anything to escape those ghastly cigars.
Have a nice drive, children.
Your coffee, madam.
Thank you, Willoughby. Now, Horace, we really must do something right away to get her mixing with the smart set. They won't just beat a path to the door under their own steam, you know. We'll need some honey to draw in the bees.
Honey? Bees? What in blazes are you talking about?
Why, Agnes, of course.
I thought you already had to talk about the bees.
Horace, must you be so literal? We need to hold some sort of a social affair, something to bring eligible young men around to meet her.
You don't mean another coming out party? I still haven't recovered from the one in Ashtabula.
That was a very tasteful, elegant affair.
Oh, it was elegant, all right. We had every aunt, niece, and cousin in your family tree rooting in the parlor with a teacup in one hand and a pinafore in the other, clucking away at poor Agnes. Any man who walked into the room took one look around and he was off like a shot.
I'll admit it wasn't the triumph I had hoped for.
Times are changing, Mildred. These young moderns, they have no patience for the old customs, the old proprieties.
More coffee, sir?
I'd better not. I might start liking it.
We'll just have to think of something modern for the party. What would fashionable young people go for?
Ah, how would I know? I'm about as fashionable as a frock coat.
Pardon me, madam, but perhaps I could offer a suggestion.
By all means, Willoughby. What's your idea?
Jazz, madam.
You don't mean that awful herky-jerky flapper music?
Oh, indeed I do, sir. Jazz seems to make the young ladies quite exuberant. And wherever there are exuberant young ladies, you will soon find eager young men.
You're right about that.
I don't know. What would people think? What would they say in the society columns?
Oh, it's quite the coming thing, madam. Mr. Gershwin's jazz concerto at the Academy of Music got a rhapsodic reception.
We don't want concertos. We want a dance band.
Would jazz at a society soiree be too outre, too shocking?
Oh, these days, madam, there's hardly any such thing as too shocking.
Jazz will do the trick, then jazz it'll be. Just don't expect me to hum along.
No one expects titans of industry to hum, Horace. Now, why don't you take your cigar out in the veranda? Willoughby and I have 1,000 details to settle about decorations and refreshments and so forth.
All right, I will. Where's my newspaper? Oh, here it is.
Go.
Now, what shall we serve at our jazz party, Willoughby? I don't suppose tea and pettiforce would do.
Oh, no, madam.
I read in Cosmopolitan that all the fashionable hostesses are giving their guests cocktails, whatever they are. Do you know anything about cocktails, Willoughby?
Yes, madam.
Are they very popular?
Oh, indeed they are, madam.
Would cocktails attract fashionable young men?
Oh, they would clamor to attend.
Can you prepare? Can you prepare them?
Well, madam, I know how.
But
a proper cocktail requires spirits. Intoxicating spirits, madam. Illegal intoxicating spirits.
you mean booze?
Yes, madam.
Oh, dear. Well, then we'll just have to get some.
But, madam, prohibition. Oh, it would mean breaking the law.
All those fashionable hostesses in the magazines seem to manage it somehow. We will, too.
Oh, dear.
Admit it, Roger. You didn't really want the car to go sightseeing.
Of course not. But what Father doesn't know won't hurt him.
So what are you up to?
Well, for one thing, it just kills me the way Father babies this machine. A top-of-the-line Packard 8 convertible, 85 horsepower, running smooth as glass, and the man never gets it out of second gear. I've been itching to see what she can really do on the road. Here's the main road, honey. Hold on to your hat.
Look at us go!
40, 45, even 50 miles an hour without breaking a sweat.
Look out for that Model T up ahead.
We'll pass him like he was standing still.
Whee!
Now, this is what I call motoring. You'll never get this with Pop at the wheel.
Not hardly. This is super.
Well, sis, when you pick out your society groom, make sure he knows how to find third gear.
Uh-oh.
Motorcycle cop. Darn it. I'd better pull over.
Your license, please. Roger Dimmerwood. The speed limit here is 25 miles an hour. Mr. Dimmerwood, do you know how fast you are going?
45, maybe?
I clocked you at 62.
62? Roger, that's marvelous.
You know how it is with these 8-cylinder jobs, officer. They run so smooth you don't even notice the speed.
Oh, I noticed. Any liquor in the car?
No such luck. Take a look for yourself.
No, I don't see any. You know, you took an awful chance tearing up the road that way. Were you trying to impress your date?
Please, she's my sister.
How about you, officer? Are you trying to impress me?
Just doing my job, ma'am.
Well, you do it awfully well. And that leather jacket, very sharp, I must say. Do all the patrolmen wear those? Or just the handsome ones?
I wouldn't say.
Oh, but I would. Hey, what kind of brother are you, Roger? You haven't introduced us. My name's Agnes. What's yours?
Mitchell. Dan Mitchell. Glad to know you, Miss Dimmerwood.
I'm glad to know you, Dan. What thrilling work you must do. Upholding the law, tracking down robbers and killers, risking life and limb to keep us all safe.
Well,
This is my chance to say thank you. Bravo. Oh, but listen to me chattering away while you have important police work to do. Don't let us keep you another minute, Dan. You go get 'em. And the next time we meet, you can tell me all about it.
I will.
Off we go now, Roger. It was lovely to meet you, Dan. Good night.
Wow, sis, where'd you learn to do that?
Do what?
Bamboozle a cop. The poor sap forgot all about a speeding ticket. He must think you've gone gaga over him.
Well, who says I haven't?
This way, please, ladies. Mrs. Dimmerwood will receive you on the veranda.
Say, isn't this the house?
You mean where?
Last summer.
With the divorcee.
And the gangster.
And they...
With the gun.
In the middle of...
Oh, it is!
Do you think she knows?
She won't hear it from me.
Mrs. Henrietta Wentworth and Mrs. Florence Klein.
Ladies, how good of you to drop in. Please have a seat in the shade. May I offer you some lemonade? Willoughby?
Right away, madam.
Now, what brings you ladies to pay a call?
We've come to welcome you to Port Washington's Summer Circle. You're new, aren't you?
This is our first season here, yes.
And along with you and Mr. Dimmerwood, you have 2 grown children?
A son and a daughter, Roger and Agnes.
Both unmarried?
Yes.
And we're told...
We begin to understand.
That is, we hear...
A soiree?
A social affair.
A party!
Well, yes, we are planning to entertain.
Ah, you see, that's just what we're here about.
We'll come to the point.
Straight to the point.
I do wish you would.
As the social secretaries of the Gold Coast Country Club, we maintain a calendar of parties and events in Port Washington during the season.
And it's customary for hostesses to consult us when they plan an affair.
So they will know what other events they may be competing with for guests.
And vice versa.
I see.
Here's the lemonade, madam.
What sort of affair do you have in mind, Miss Dimmerwood?
Something modern and up to date that the young people will enjoy. Cocktails and a jazz band.
Gracious, that is modern.
It'll be quite an occasion, I'm sure. a real reputation maker.
Of course, it will take some arranging, especially the cocktails part. Do you ladies have any suggestions you might share?
I am sure I wouldn't know what to tell you.
She's very active in the Temperance League, you know.
I fight the good fight against the scourge of demon rum.
And isn't it a puzzle?
Isn't what a puzzle?
Well, nowadays, nobody's supposed to be able to get any liquor, and yet you see so many people drunk.
I'm sure arranging your jazz party must be keeping you busy, Mrs. Dimmerwood, so we won't impose any longer. I bid you good day.
Thank you for the lemonade. You know, with some gin and a splash of seltzer, it makes a lovely Tom Collins.
Mrs. Klein, I'm surprised at you. Come along.
Here's the shop, madam. But I must ask, are you sure this is a good idea?
We have to start somewhere, Willoughby.
Welcome to Harbor Pharmacy. May I help you?
I've come to ask about alcohol.
Rubbing alcohol, ma'am. No medicine chest should be without it. We stock McKesson's, the leading brand. May I fetch you a bottle?
No, not that stuff. You have the drinking kind, don't you?
We do, but strictly for medicinal purposes.
And what would those be?
Well, it has anesthetic properties, and it's a necessary ingredient in many of our preparations.
Aha! That's just what I need it for. An ingredient in preparations. We'll take 6 cases. 2 gin, 2 rum, 2 whiskey. My man here will put them in the car.
6 cases? There must be some misunderstanding.
I can't think why.
Madam, we're only allowed to dispense liquor a pint at a time, and only by prescription.
Well, now, really, how could 1 pint possibly make enough cocktails for 100 guests?
Cocktails? Madam, are you trying to get me arrested? I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to leave.
Well, I never. Come along, Willoughby. We won't be trading in this establishment.
I'm very sorry, madam, but I did try to warn you.
Yes, Willoughby, you did. But never mind that clerk. Where shall we try next?
Madam, I don't think you will be able to obtain what you are seeking through respectable business channels.
Maybe not, but there must be some way to get it. Come now, Willoughby. Think of something.
Well, madam, perhaps a speakeasy.
Oh, no. I could never be seen entering such a place. We'd be ruined socially.
Oh, but you could visit a hotel without harm to your reputation. For a charity luncheon, perhaps, or a mahjong tournament.
Certainly. What would be wrong with that?
And if the hotel happened to have a speakeasy within...
That would be convenient.
Mildred, I don't understand why you're dragging me out on this wild goose chase.
Now, Horace, a lady simply cannot walk into a public hotel unescorted, especially in the evening. People would think, well, you know what they'd think.
Not about you, they wouldn't. What do you want there, anyway?
It's to do with the party arrangements, Horace. You wouldn't understand. Once we're inside, you can go smoke in the public parlor while I see to the business at hand. Here we are now.
The Cove Inn. Not exactly the Waldorf, is it?
Never mind that. Just give me your arm. What's all this commotion?
You better beat it, lady. The state police are upstairs breaking up the speakeasy.
Oh, no!
What in the Sam Hill?
Roger! Agnes!
Mother!
Father!
What are you doing here?
You're listening to the landmark radio theater production of Cocktail Blues, A Tale of the Jazz Age. We'll be back with Act 2 of our story in a few moments, but first, here's a musical peek into the minds of young women like Agnes, the free spirits of the Roaring Twenties.
no sense, but I don't care. They may or may not mean offense, but I don't care. You see, I'm sort of independent. I am my own superintendent, and my star is on the ascendant. That's why I don't care. I don't care. I don't care what they may think of me. I'm happy-go-lucky. They say that I'm plucky, contented, and carefree. I don't care. I don't care if I do get a mean and stony stare. If I'm not successful, it won't be distressful, 'cause I don't care. A girl should know her etiquette. Alas, alack, propriety demands we walk a narrow track. When fellas used to blink at me, I'd freeze them and they'd shrink at me. But now when fellas wink at me, I wink at them right back. I don't care, I don't care if people frown on me. Perhaps it's the lone way, but I go my own way. It's my philosophy. I don't care if he's a clerk or just a millionaire. There's no doubt about it, I'll sing and I'll shout it, 'cause I don't care. Oh, I don't care, I don't care. When it comes to happiness, I want my share. Don't try to rearrange me. There's nothing can change me, 'cause I don't care.
And now, this message.
Hello, Jimmy. I'm awfully sorry, but I won't be able to go dancing tonight after all. Something's come up.
Sally, that's the third date you've broken with him. What's come up?
This awful corn, that's what. When I put on a high heel, it hurts like blazes.
Why don't you get rid of it?
The shoe?
No, the corn.
I tried that the last time, Marge. Cutting off the corn just made it sting even more.
Oh, no, never cut off a corn. Remove it the scientific way with a Blue Jay corn remover.
Is it hard to do?
No, it's simple. Soak your foot in hot water for 10 minutes, then apply a medicated Blue Jay pad right over the corn. It protects against chafing, so the pain stops that very minute.
What a relief.
After 3 days, you peel away the Blue Jay pad, soak your foot again, and the corn will lift right off, clean and easy.
Just like that?
Just like that. No more corn. And no more broken dates with that dreamboat, Jimmy.
Oh boy, dance floor, here we come.
Blue Jay, the scientific corn remover. Just 25 cents at any drugstore.
Soak that corn away
With a Blue Jay.
We now present Act 2 of Cocktail Blues.
Home safe at last.
That was a narrow escape. If we'd stuck around the Cove Inn any longer, we might all be in the Hooskow.
Or worse, in the newspapers.
Don't be silly. We weren't doing anything wrong.
Just what were you doing at that place?
Roger wanted to hear the band.
Not the band, the singer, Maxine Sharp.
Apparently, Roger saw her at some charity ball at the Metropole last month and fell truly, madly, deeply.
When I found out she was appearing right here in Port Washington, I just had to go. She's the bee's knees.
Why is everyone around here always talking about bees?
Now it's your turn. Father, Mother, what were you doing there?
I'm not too clear on that myself.
I was going to surprise you, Agnes, but I suppose the cat is out of the bag now. We were there to make some arrangements for a party we're planning for you.
For me? Oh no, Millie. Not another coming out.
I said the very same thing.
No, nothing like that. This will be a fashionable, modern affair for the younger set, like you and Roger, with jazz music.
Ooh, now you're talking.
And best of all, no relatives.
Mrs. Wentworth and Mrs. Klein are here, madam.
Those two again? Good heavens, tell them I'm... Oh, no, I suppose you'd better show them in.
A wise course, madam.
Good morning, ladies. To what do I owe
Mrs.
this...
Dimmerwood, have you seen...
It's simply shocking.
In the morning newspaper.
Scandalous.
Right here in Port Washington.
Unheard of.
Practically on our front doorstep.
Isn't that the usual place to find the newspaper?
I mean, what's in the paper. The police raid last night at the Cove Inn.
I did hear something about
I'm
that.
simply appalled. Appalled. Speakeasies and bootlegging and the good name of Port Washington dragged through the mud. Look at this photograph. Policemen with axes smashing barrels of beer right on the front page.
They're rather handsome, don't you think? Especially that fellow on the right.
Florence!
Well, he is!
That's not the point.
Perhaps you might come to the point, Mrs. Wentworth.
The point, Mrs. Dimmerwood, is this. If we are to maintain the quality of our summer society here in Port Washington, we must do what we can to avoid bad publicity. Families of our standing mustn't be seen to associate in any way with these disreputable establishments and the sin merchants who run them. Do you take my meaning, Mrs. Dimmerwood?
Whatever are my manners? I haven't offered you any refreshment. Oh, Willoughby!
Would the ladies care for tea, madam? I've brought a tray.
Thank you. No, we must be off in a moment. We have another engagement.
The Temperance League. She's very active, you know.
An emergency meeting to demand that bootleggers be driven out of our community.
And off the front page.
We must fight the good fight.
Yes, you mentioned.
But we did have another point in stopping by this morning.
A different point entirely.
You see, Mrs. Dimmerwood, we want to see your family get off on the right foot socially.
Oh, so would I, naturally.
And to that end...
Does your daughter dance?
Agnes? She's mad for dancing.
Is she? Our country club is holding a dance on Friday night, strictly for members and their guests, of course. But if you think Agnes would like to attend, my nephew, Lance Wentworth, can escort her.
A very eligible young man, you know.
Oh, I'm sure Agnes will jump at the chance. She'd better.
But Mother, I've never even met him.
What does that matter? A golden opportunity has dropped right in your lap. Lance Wentworth is everything that we're looking for.
That you're looking for.
He has breeding.
And money.
And pedigree.
And money.
And social standing.
And money.
And very bright prospects.
And money.
Oh, whatever will I do with you, Agnes? Yes, of course, money. But it's gauche to come right out and say so.
It's the simple truth.
Simple truths are never in fashion.
Can I at least wear the midnight blue frock? The one with the neckline that you said was too daring for Ohio?
This is Long Island, dear. Anything goes. Now run along and get dressed. He'll be here to pick you up in an hour.
Here's our table. Let's sit down.
But Lance, the song isn't over yet.
That darn Charleston, I can't take it for very long. All that crazy kicking and flapping just wears me out.
I love it. It makes me feel free.
Well, you can have it.
I don't understand. Didn't we come here to dance?
I suppose. But why can't they play a foxtrot or something? Oh, good. They're bringing the singer on for a number. She's a real attraction.
To be or not to be, that is not the question. I decided long ago to be. With me, it's what to be. Make me some suggestion, good or bad, which is the best for me. When you're after fun and laughter, this aggravates you. Some reformers say a warmer climate awaits you. If it's naughty to rouge your lips, shake your shoulders and shake your hips. Let a lady confess, I want to be bad. If it's naughty to vamp the man, sleep each morning till after 10, then the answer is yes, I want to be bad. This thing of being a good little goody is all very well. What can you do when you're loaded with plenty of health and vigor, when you're learning what lips are for? If it's naughty to ask for more, then the answer is yes, I want to be bad. I want to be bad.
Miss Maxine Sharp, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all.
Oh, I just got to meet her. You can go dance if you'd like. Miss Sharp, Maxine.
Lance, what are you doing?
Maxine, hello.
Do I know you?
No, but you will when you dine with me tonight on my yacht.
Hold on, mister.
It'll be marvelous. The two of us. Oysters, champagne, moonlight on the fantail.
I don't have the slightest interest in your fantail. Now, if you don't mind,
Say you'll dine with me, Maxine. You simply must.
I said forget it. Rocky helping me out here.
Sure, babe. The lady says shove off, mister. Now shove off.
But Maxine.
Well, I guess I know where I stand. I think I've had more than enough of Lance Wentworth. I need some air.
Hello there. Miss Dimmerwood, isn't it?
Officer Mitchell, we meet again.
Please, call me Dan.
Well, Dan, I'm afraid you won't catch very many speeders in a country club parking lot.
No, guess not. But the people who drive these expensive cars sure can be careless about them. You see? They leave the tops down, the keys in the dash. Easy to steal, so I keep an eye.
Have you spotted any dubious characters skulking about tonight? Besides my escort, I mean.
No, not one. It was deadly dull out here until you magically appeared. You're a sight for bored eyes.
Well, thank you. I'm glad somebody thinks so.
The date isn't showing you a good time.
Half a dance. And then he went off chasing after the band singer with his tongue hanging out and forgot all about me.
Shame on him.
He's my mother's idea of prime husband material, just because his family is loaded. He's my idea of a stinker.
He doesn't know how to treat a lady.
How would you treat a girl on a date, Dan?
Well, I'd tell her how lovely she looked in that blue dress. How I liked the way her bobbed hair framed her face and those big shining eyes. And if she liked to cut a rug, I'd be out there on the floor with her till the band quit or the Victrola broke.
Dan, I'm blushing.
I'm sorry, forgive me, Miss Dimmerwood.
I didn't say I minded. Tell me, Dan, if you weren't on duty tonight, where would you take your best girl dancing?
Haven't got a girl. It's hard to socialize very much on a patrolman's hours and a patrolman's pay. But I've got ambition. I'm going to climb the ladder. A detective sergeant takes home twice what I make now. A fella could think about marriage on that kind of money.
Will it take you a long time to get ahead?
Not if I crack a really big case. One that'll make the brass sit up and take notice. And And I've got a lead on one now that just might do the trick.
Ooh, tell.
Well, last summer, you might remember, it was all in all the papers. Some federal agents caught up with a racketeer named Spats Reinhardt, a real sharp operator, gambling, extortion, bootlegging, you name it. He was living here under an alias, as bold as you please.
A gangster? Right here in Port Washington? How thrilling!
The rumor was that he had a shipment of top-shelf booze stashed away someplace in town, but Reinhardt wouldn't talk, and the federal boys didn't know where to look.
Ah, but you do.
I have an idea, and if it pans out...
Then it'll be you in all the papers, with the shiny new detective's badge.
Maybe. But gee, I'd better get back to work. They don't promote you for talking to young ladies in parking lots.
A habit of yours?
Not as a rule, but for one as pretty as you, Agnes, I had to make an exception.
Then, before you go, Dan, tell me this. Suppose a girl left her heart unlocked in the parking lot. What would you say that was easy to steal?
Roger, come out here on the veranda and show me how to work this confounded thing.
You mean Father's telescope?
When I look in this part here, I'm supposed to see things that are far away, but all I get is darkness. Is there a switch or something to turn it on?
No, Mother, there's no switch. Let me see. Well, no wonder. The lens cap is still on. Here.
Oh, yes, that's much better. Now, which way do I point it to see the country club where Agnes is dancing?
I don't think you can. It's over on the left toward Plandome, hidden behind the hill.
That's where it is, madam. But if you aim to the right, you will get a lovely view of the bay around Plum Point.
Yes, I see. Willoughby, what is that thing with all the lights floating in the bay out beyond the point?
I expect that would be Luigi's clam barge, madam. A bit rough and ready, I'm told. But the seafood is very, very, very fresh.
A restaurant in the middle of the bay? How do people get there?
By boat, madam. Madam, Luigi's caters to the yachting and sailing crowd.
Seems like a lot of bother for a fish dinner.
It's not the fish, Mother. I hear they serve liquor and plenty of it.
How do they get away with that?
They smuggle the booze in by motor launch from ships anchored out beyond the 3-mile limit where the law can't touch them. And the cops could hardly raid a barge in the middle of the bay the way they did the Cove Inn. They'd be spotted a mile off.
That gives me an idea. Willoughby.
Madam, you don't mean to.
But I do.
Oh, dear, oh, dear. Just 3 for supper tonight, Mrs. Olson.
Who'll be missing?
The lady of the house. She's taking me with her. I'm afraid you'll have to serve a table.
Don't tell me she's going booze hunting again.
Very well, I won't tell you.
You're as nutty as she is to let yourself get tangled up in her escapades. Why do you go along with it?
Well, you know why? After the Fleischmann estate was closed up and sold, I searched for months and months for another suitable position. But all I can find was this seasonable job. I've got to make the most of it and finish the summer with a good reference. You don't get those by saying no.
A fat lot of good a reference will do you when you're locked up in jail, and you will be, mark my words.
Well, keep your fingers crossed and save me a bit of the roast, won't you?
Sure, I got boats for rent. It says so on the sign, don't it? What do you want it for?
To go boating, of course.
Now? It's almost dusk.
Adam wishes to see the sunset over the water.
Yes, that's it, the sunset.
Well, I got a dory you could take out for 50 cents an hour, but I ain't sitting here all evening and waiting for you, so give me $10 now, and whenever you're done, just tie her up and go home. In the morning, if I feel that's all well, you'll get your $8 back.
That will suit us. Pay him, Willoughby.
Here you are. Where's the motor?
You're the motor. She got 2 good oars. Don't lose them. If it's dark when you're rowing back, just look for the green light at the end of my dock.
Help me into the boat, Willoughby.
But, madam.
The sun is setting. There's no time to lose.
Oh, very well, madam.
Oh, all right, Willoughby. You can start rowing now.
Crazy landlubbers. Sunset's no different out there than it is right here. Bon voyage.
Oh, madam, I ask you once again, if this is really a wise course of action. Oh, I must rest a moment.
Willoughby, you heard it yourself. There is liquor to be had at Luigi's clam barge, and it's safe from the police.
That's just it, madam. Smugglers and bootleggers are not all the kinds of people you're accustomed to. They are scheming and deceitful, wrathful and cruel.
Fiddlesticks. Half the women in my bridge club fit that description.
But, madam, these men carry guns, and out there on that barge where they have little to fear from the authorities, who knows what misadventure might await you?
I can't think about that. I have to plunge right in all the same. Do you have any children, Willoughby?
No, madam, I'm a bachelor.
Then perhaps you wouldn't understand just how a mother feels about her children's future. Whatever must be done for Agnes to find a good husband and start a happy marriage. Who else will do it, if not her mother?
Of course, madam.
You've been rowing for a while now, Willoughby. How far have we come?
Difficult to say now that the sun is down.
We must be getting close to the barge. Maybe I can...
No, please, madam.
If I stand up, I can get a better look.
No, madam, you'll tip the...
Willoughby! Oh!
Mrs. Timmerwood!
We'll be back with the Act 3 of the Cocktail Blues, a tale of the Jazz Age, in just a moment. But first, our Hollywood reporter, Janet Jones, is here with a very special guest.
The lovely and talented screen star Della McKay is with us in the studio today. Hello, Della.
Lovely to be here, Janet, and hello to all my fans out there in Radioland.
Your new picture, The Privateer's Lady, opened last night at the Palindrome Theater. Tell us about it.
Oh, it's great fun. Basil Stockton plays a shy buccaneer who falls madly in love with me. Warren Floyd is his arch enemy who also falls madly in love with me. And that handsome Rod Majors plays a heroic naval officer. And guess what he does?
He falls madly in love with you?
How did you know? And it all happens in glorious Technicolor.
Speaking of color, Della, I have to ask, whenever we see you, no matter what you're wearing, your nails are always the perfect shade to match. How do you do it?
Oh, that's a secret I'm happy to share, Janet. It's the Glazo Nail Polish Twin Pack. Each ravishing color in the Glazo line comes with a bottle of its own special remover right in the box. The polish goes on brilliantly with no streaking, fading, or chipping. And when it's time to make a change, the remover takes it all off in a snap.
Say, that's smart. You can have a new Glazo manicure for every occasion.
That's right, Janet. It was crimson for the premiere last night. I'm wearing a misty coral today. And for the Academy Ball, I'll go with deep burgundy. For girls like us in the public eye, Glazo Twin Packs sure comes in handy.
Thanks for the tip, Della McKay.
And thank you, Janet Jones. The Landmark Radio Theater now brings you the thrilling conclusion of Cocktail Blues.
Willoughby, help me back into the boat.
Oh, take my arms, madam. I'll lift you in.
Oh, dear heaven, look at me. I'm soaked to the skin and the water is cold.
Here, madam, put my jacket around your shoulders and take a sip of this. It'll warm you up a bit.
What's in that flask?
Brandy, madam, for emergencies, you understand.
Willoughby, you've been holding out on me.
Oh, no, madam, never. A little bit in the flask is all the liquor I have. Oh, you're shivering. Have another sip.
Where did you get it?
The Cove Inn, madam, but there's no more to be had there. Not since the police raid.
Then we... Chew!
Oh, madam, we have to turn back. I mean, you could catch your death out here in those wet things. Brandy or no brandy.
Chew! Confound it anyway. I suppose you're right.
Well, Willoughby, what is it?
Mrs. Wentworth and Mrs. Klein are in the drawing room. Sir, they've come to call on Mrs. Dimmerwood.
Oh, no. Not those two.
Wentworth? That sounds familiar.
I am in no mood for their clucking. Send them away. Make some excuse.
Popinjay you sent Agnes to the dance with, he was a Wentworth, wasn't he?
Lance Wentworth, her nephew. The date was a flop, and those two hens are going to make it out to be all my fault. I'm sure of it.
What shall I say, madam?
Tell them I'm indisposed. Tell them I'm contagious. Tell them, I don't know.
Here you are.
Ladies.
With this fine weather.
We just knew.
Here on the veranda.
The morning breeze.
And this must be?
Horace Dimmerwood. Which one of you two birds is Wentworth?
Ladies, I'm so sorry, but I'm... Achoo!
You unwell?
Under the weather?
Feeling poorly?
A touch of la grippe?
It's just a summer cold, but if you don't mind, I'm really very...
Well, we shan't keep you, but Mrs. Dimmerwood, I must ask about the country club dance. Was your daughter swept off her feet?
Not by Lance.
Well, the summer is young.
Plenty of time.
I'm sure they'll be thrown together again.
At some social affair. Perhaps your jazz party.
Perhaps. Now, ladies, please. Chew!
All right, that's enough. Mildred needs her rest, and I'm sure you two have other calls to make, so off you go now. Shoo, come.
Well,
This way, ladies, if you please.
good day.
Chew!
What you want for that sniffle, dear, is a nice hot toddy.
Lawrence!
Yes, the Temperance League, I know.
I thought they'd never go.
Those sneezes were a clever touch, very convincing. How'd you conjure them up?
Oh, Horace, I didn't conjure them. I really did get a terrible chill last night when I fell out of the rowboat. And worse than that, we had to come back empty-handed.
There was a crack-brained stunt all around. What were you thinking?
I was thinking that the whole point of coming out here this summer was to get Agnes in with the smart set. And we promised a party with jazz and cocktails. And what will people think if they turn up and we've got no cocktails? And it'll be a complete disaster. Our whole summer will be ruined. And I've tried this and I've tried that and nothing worked. And out there in the bay is that clam barge. And they've got plenty of liquor. And maybe I can get what we need if only I can get out there.
Stop and breathe.
And that's what I was thinking. Horace Dimmerwood, now I don't know what to think. Maybe we should just pack up and go back to Ohio right now.
Mildred, dear, you're not serious.
No, I suppose not, but I'm feeling pretty discouraged.
Hello, Mother, Father. Anyone for tennis? The weather's tip-top.
What are you so chipper about?
I always feel good after a haircut. I've just come from the barber. What do you think?
Oh, Roger, with all that macassar oil in your hair and you've still got a cowlick.
Well, it's got a mind of its own, I guess. Say, you won't believe what I found out about this house. It seems we missed all the excitement.
What do you mean?
Well, the barber and I got to chatting while he snipped, and I mentioned that we'd taken a house out here for the season. Which one, says he, and 68 Bayview, says I, and didn't that turn every head in the shop?
How come?
Evidently last summer, the house was let to a banker's wife who had just cleaned him out in divorce court, and she enjoyed being free, rich, and indiscreet. All sorts of dubious characters were seen coming and going day and night. Horse players, tango dancers, stock promoters, theater critics, and some you wouldn't know what to call them.
Such talk. You men are worse gossips than any woman.
But wait till you hear the best part. She took up with a certain playboy of shadowy repute. Spats, they called him. You know the type. A sharp character with a flashy suit and no background. Well, the two of them were dallying in the parlor one night when who should come bursting in the door but her jilted husband with a pistol in his hand. There was a scuffle and bang! the gun went off.
No.
Out with it, boy. What happened?
Well, the divorcee fainted, the playboy ran for the hills, and the husband had to explain to the police how he managed to shoot himself in the caboose.
That's a dreadful story.
Isn't it, though? And it happened right here in this house.
Willoughby!
May I bring you anything, madam?
Willoughby, were you the butler in this house last summer?
No, madam. I was under butler at the Fleischmann estate until it was sold.
Do you recall there being any talk in town about a fellow called Spats?
Ah, yes. Mr. Reinhardt, the bootlegging gentleman. I'm afraid he'll be no help to us now. Madam, he's in the penitentiary.
Roger thinks he was mixed up with the woman who rented this house last year.
That was the talk, madam. Until the shooting episode, of course.
Well, that's just fine. A notorious house, and no one thought to warn us. We'll be stained by the association with a scoundrel we've never even met.
Hightailing it the way he did, you don't suppose old Spats might have left a bottle or two behind, do you?
Maybe we ought to have a look around.
Before your arrival, sir, the house did receive a most thorough cleaning and noting, and nothing like that was found either upstairs or down.
Darn.
Well, what about the cellar? Wasn't that where people used to keep their wine?
I'm not sure the cleaners ever ventured down there.
Well, then, we will. If there's anything more to know about this place, I want to know it. Lead on, Willoughby.
Take care on the steps, madam. They are quite old.
Not much down here, is there? A hose? Some garden tools?
There must be some storm shutters over here for the winter.
A few old cans of house paint.
The coal supply over here by the wall. Looks like about 3 tons, give or take.
That's curious.
It's curious about a pile of coal.
This house is only used in the summer, and it's closed up the rest of the year. Isn't that right, Willoughby?
Yes, madam. The house has no central heating, just the fireplaces.
Then if there's no furnace, what is all this coal doing here?
That is curious.
It's to hide something, that's what. Horace, Roger, pick up those shovels and come help. And what do we have here?
It appears to be a case of London dry gin, madam. In fact, several cases.
Here's some marked Jamaica rum.
This one says Scotch whiskey. Hot diggity.
Gentlemen, it seems we will be able to serve cocktails after all.
Mildred, I don't know how anyone can stand this awful racket.
Never mind what we think of it, Horace. The young people are mad for the jazz music, and that's what counts tonight. Look at Agnes. She's had an eager new partner for every dance.
If you can call that dancing.
Go have a drink, Horace.
Is everybody having a good time? Well, our hosts, the Dimmerwoods, have arranged something special for us this evening. Here she is to sing for you, the fabulous Miss Maxine Sharp.
Saving all
Sharp. Maxine.
You again. Please step aside, will you?
Maxine, when you sing, you send my heart higher than the moon.
Your liver is up there too. Now, please.
You must dance with me, dine with me, drink with me.
You've done plenty of that already.
Any trouble here, Miss Sharp?
This character won't take not on your life for an answer.
But Maxine, you really...
Say, you're Lance Wentworth, aren't you, of the Park Avenue Wentworths? Well, it's a good thing I found you. There's an old battle axe from the Temperance League outside making a terrible fuss, and she says she's a relation of yours.
Aunt Henrietta, good grief. She mustn't see me drinking like this. She'll cut me off without a dime.
Quick then, you'd better duck out the back way.
The back way? Yes.
You made that up about his aunt, didn't you?
It's all right, he had it coming.
There you are, Mother. Isn't it the tops? Everyone's having such a good time dancing. You should drag Father out and have a caper yourselves.
Agnes, you must be joking. We both turned red as beets from head to toe.
Oh, go on. Don't be shy. It's fun.
No. Our rug cutting days are behind us, your father and I. Hijinks like these are for the young and carefree.
Agnes, this is my dance. You said.
Coming, Monty. Well, anyway, I just wanted to say, it's a thrilling party. You've outdone yourself, Millie.
Don't call me... What's the use?
Madam, would you care for a cocktail?
After all the trouble we went through, Willoughby, I do believe I would. Is that someone at the door? Why don't they use the bell?
Police, open up.
Just a moment. Good evening, officers. How may I help you?
This is 68 Bayview Avenue, right?
Yes? Are you here for the dancing?
We have information that there may be contraband on these premises. Please stand aside.
What's the meaning of this, Willoughby? Can't these fellas see we've got a house full of guests?
Clancy, check out and see what's in that glass.
Hey, that's my scotch and soda.
Just as I thought. Liquor. And who are you, sir?
I'm Horace Dimmerwood. I rented this house for the summer, and cop or no cop, I don't take kindly to party crashers.
Dimmerwood. Dimmerwood? You mean... Oh, no.
Dan Mitchell, is that you?
Agnes.
Hold on. You know this fellow? We're here for 3 weeks, and already you're on a first-name basis with the police?
Dan, what's this all about? Did the neighbors complain about the music?
No, it's not that. We got a tip about where Spats Reinhardt stashed his last booze shipment from the G-men and nabbed him. Remember? I told you all about that. But all we had was a street address. This address. And I had no idea it was yours.
Well, what are you going to do now? Arrest us all?
I may have to.
You're serious.
This is a pickle, and make no mistake. If I look the other way, I'll be throwing away my big chance at a promotion and maybe my whole career. But if I run you all in, I'll be throwing away any chance I might have had with you.
Oh, Dan.
But I guess I really don't have a choice, do I? Duty must come first. I'm a sworn officer, and I've seen law breaking with my own eyes.
Officer, just a moment. Before anything regrettable happens here, perhaps you might say exactly which law you've seen broken.
Why, the Volstead Act, of course.
It's the law against the manufacture, purchase, sale, or transportation of alcoholic drinks. Is that right?
Yes, that's it.
But, officer, no one here has done any of those things.
What are you talking about? Look at all this bootleg liquor.
But we didn't make it. We didn't buy it. We aren't selling it, and we didn't transport it. We found it right here, hidden in the basement where your informant said it was.
Well, then it's not yours. You've stolen it.
Ah, the owner of the liquor, whoever that may have been, has left it sitting here unclaimed for 9 months, and he's hardly likely to speak up about it now. So in the eyes of the law, it's abandoned property. and belongs to whoever finds it.
Yeah, I guess it would.
All that anyone here has done is enjoy the liquor. And there's no law prohibiting that.
No, there isn't.
Now, there now, officer, you've done it. You've solved the riddle of the missing shipment and spared the police department from 100 lawsuits for false arrest, all at the same time.
I guess so.
Dan, that's brilliant. Come here.
Agnes, really? In front of all these people?
Oh, Millie, didn't you ever just want to plant one on a handsome man in uniform? Like this?
Have mercy on him, Agnes. The poor fellow's on duty. Here's a hanky, son. Wipe off that lipstick.
Officer Mitchell, if you and Officer Clancy will follow me to the kitchen, I'll fix you each a tall glass of, shall we say, material witness? Evidence.
A capital idea. I'll join you. Now tell me, Mitchell, how did you meet my daughter?
Mother, I suspect that Willoughby is something of a treasure.
Yes, I must say, that was rather deftly done.
Why don't you keep him on permanently? Make him the butler in our townhouse on Sutton Place.
You know, that's not a bad idea. But Agnes, really, all these young men from the best families are here for you to get acquainted with. And you go kissing some policeman.
Better watch out, Mother. I just might kiss him again.
Well, at least you called me Mother for a change. Thank you for that.
Anytime, Millie. Anytime.
Mother, can we start the music up again? I've just got to hear Maxine Sharp sing another number. I'm smitten.
Oh, no, Roger. Not you, too.
We hope you've enjoyed Cocktail Blues, A Tale of the Jazz Age, a co-production of Landmark on Main Street and Expressive Elocution. Our company featured Spencer Cohen, Judy Doyle, Susie Esposito, Scott Leon, Pat Lyons, Sarah Lyons, Annabelle May, Elise May, Alexander Nam, Ani O'Hanlon, Al Reno, Jen Rinaldi, Arnold Sabino, Pam Uraburo, Margaret Werner, and your host, Ethan Freed. Our musical director is Jake Handelman. Our associate director is Catherine Long. And Cocktail Blues was written and directed by Pat Lyons. We'd like to thank Landmark on Main Street Executive Director Laura Mogul and the custodial and technical staff of the beautiful Gene Rimsky Theater. We are grateful for the generous support of Hearts, Port Washington. Our production was made possible in part with funds from the statewide Community Re-Grant Program of the New York State Council on the Arts, administered by the Huntington Arts Council. And now, before we leave the Dimmerwoods and their jazz party, there's just one more thing you should know. If I seem to scintillate, it's because I've got a date.
A date with a package of the
the good things that come with love.
You don't have to ask me, I won't waste your time. But if you should ask